What we've learned over time is that it wasn't just about working, but it was about having a sense of normalcy, a sense of control. Nextiva has continued to pay our employees, to have funds available through salary donations from our leaders, but also through GoFundMe to help people just meet their basic needs.
Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group. Everyone at this point is aware of the crisis surrounding the war in Ukraine. But what many aren't aware of is that Nextiva has approximately 330 employees that live and work in the Ukraine. I recently had the pleasure of meeting Nextiva's head of HR for their Ukrainian team members, and I had the pleasure of having her tell the story about the strength of the Ukrainian people, as well as how Nextiva is supporting their team in the Ukraine during this life-changing event. Here is what she had to say.
So let me introduce myself first. My name is Sarah Koon, and I do lead talent development for Nextiva. And I thought I would take the time today to just share a little bit of the human side of Nextiva that makes me not only proud to work here, but also I think people would be really proud to know about to partner with us. Not many people realize, but we have 326 people that are employed that live in Ukraine and that were all impacted by this recent invasion. And so a lot of people wondered, what did we do? And so I wanted to kind of share some of that with you. First and foremost, our value of care has been just shown and lived and walked and breathed even before this started. We made preparations for business continuity, but first and foremost, our priority was the safety and well-being of all of our employees. Every one of our employees, I'm so happy to say, they're all safe. We have not suffered any casualties to this invasion, but we have suffered a lot of people displaced. What I am happy about is that almost 95% of our employees are currently back working. It is such a testament to the resiliency of the Ukrainian people. Their first initiative or effort was to get to safety, and secondly, to get internet so that they could come back to work. What we've learned over time is that it wasn't just about working, but it was about having a sense of normalcy, a sense of control. And throughout this entire initiative or effort, Nextiva has continued to pay our employees, to have funds available through salary donations from our leaders, but also through GoFundMe to help people just meet their basic needs. Many people have gone to Poland, but they go with a suitcase and a backpack. They've lost everything. And so we have funds to get them started, to start over wherever they end up. And throughout this, we keep paying them. We check in with them daily. We make sure they're okay. We include them in our meetings. We've really started to migrate, I guess, to a more normal business cycle because that's what they want. But first and foremost, their safety is really important. I think what people don't realize is that if you call into our support staff, oftentimes you will get a Ukrainian agent. And we've learned that they are willing to share what they're going through. And they're comforted by the tremendous outpouring of just kindness from people that are engaging with them. They feel that there is a sense of normalcy. I think something we are really proud of that we didn't understand at first was how many of our employees have now been displaced and they're living in small homes with family and relatives and friends, where our Nextiva employee is the only breadwinner or provider because we have continued to pay our employees.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you speak a little bit about, you had mentioned in our private talk before we started this interview, that one thing that really surprised you through this situation was just the resiliency of the Ukrainian people. Like how you mentioned that some of them, in text messages or phone calls, they have nothing left. They have nothing but just a few belongings and a backpack, but they're still eager to come to work. And just talk a little bit about how you mentioned that you guys have given them like an offering to say, hey, if you need this money to go walk away for a bit or permanently to be safe, how some of them have said, no, I want to stay here and work. I want to stay here and do what needs to be done, even during such a crisis.
Yeah, it's such a testament to the strength and the resiliency of the Ukrainians. They want to work. In many cases, they have taken minimum time off to get to safety. And in other cases, we do a daily check-in. We know that many evacuated and were unable to take their equipment with them because their cars were full with their families. And they've immediately sought out ways to get computers shipped to them or how we get them equipment in their new location. But it's been really interesting to see the work ethic play out of their responsibility, their sense of responsibility to care for the customers. They take it very seriously. And I think we look at it and we compare it to how hard they're actually fighting the war. Yeah. It's that same grit and that tenacity and that also that loyalty. So they're tremendously and fiercely loyal to Ukraine, and they are also fiercely loyal to Nextiva. Yeah. And that is something we didn't really understand, because I think a lot of us sitting here in the comforts of our home, if we're really honest with ourselves, would we do the same thing? Yeah. I'm not sure. But we have afforded them all the opportunity to take the time they need, to take the time they need, not just to get to safety, but also the mental health perspective or aspect of it. We've seen where on my own team, I have several direct reports over there where we've just had to almost force a day to just relax because they're almost a bit shell-shocked, and so getting back to normal helps them kind of escape what's going on, but at some point you do have to face it.
Yeah. One final thing that I want to ask you about before we wrap this up is, you had mentioned in our earlier conversation that Nextiva has almost afforded unlimited funds to the people of Ukraine to help them in whatever situation they need while this plays its course. Could you just give some examples of some of that, of what has been done for them economically to assist?
Yeah, happy to. So I think, one thing is the continuity of their compensation. That has not been disrupted at all. We've also adjusted how we compensate our employees there. So they had been getting paid once a month. We've changed the frequency so that they do have access to funds, because things that you don't think of, like the ATM machines, run out of money. Yeah. And so if you're only paid once a month, it's a little difficult to actually get cash, and cash is king right now. Yeah. So we've done that. We've also been able to have funds available if they ask for it, to help them with deposits for new places to live, things like household things like pots and pans, bedding, different things that they need, but also to get internet. So internet is a little tricky when you get into different countries. They want you to sign a 2-year agreement. Yep. And it's a little tricky when you don't know quite how long you might be staying in that country. So we've made funds available for that. We've also helped people get into different countries. So whether it's through visa sponsorship, through just immigration counseling, if you will, to kind of figure out what their next steps are. I think, I'm really proud that we've taken care of our employees, but we've also really taken care of our customers and our partners. Immediately through our business continuity planning efforts, we brought up a temporary redundant workforce almost that very same day to make sure that the minds of our Ukrainian employees were put at ease so that they realize, look, we're making this space so you can get to safety, but we're not replacing you. We're bringing on this temporary workforce until things settle down. And I have to, really give kudos to these BPOs that worked with us too, realizing that this is a temporary engagement as we get this to settle down. So it's really been full service, and I'm, really proud of how we've handled it.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today. And I thought it was important for our viewers, our clients that currently use Nextiva, or anybody who's watching this channel that's thinking about Nextiva, to see the more human side of Nextiva. Because we all know at the end of the day, we all go to work and we all get into business to make money, to pay our bills, to feed our families, but at the end of the day, it's really about the human experience.
Yeah.
It's really about us sticking together as just humans in the thing we call life. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.